Hello everyone, welcome to the webinar. What are the BIM reasons why you should purchase and use Revit as opposed to Revit LT? As we know, we have an option between the limited technology, LT stands for limited technology Revit, and the full Revit, and the common opinion of the BIM experts that are around me is that one should not really see Revit LT as the solution preferred for BIM. Rather, Revit is the preferred solution. On the agenda today, we'd like to consider collaboration, or work sharing as it is otherwise known, in common speak, to create a central file in which people may collaborate, either on a local area network or the more popular solution, especially with COVID, on the cloud. I'd like to consider the idea, although not truly a common data environment, but moving towards that, the Autodesk Construction Cloud. There is some functionality of Revit LT on the cloud, but Revit is really built with the cloud in mind. The BIM Interoperability Tools, vital for the application of standards within a BIM project. The control of linked file elements. And this is true, especially when printing. I recently came into contact with a client who had some real problems trying to hide elements in printing when they are linking in files from other disciplines. And also note, if you invest in Revit LT, there is no upgrade option, and you would have to buy the license of Revit outright should you wish to change up to a true BIM platform. So about collaboration and work sharing. Firstly, it is not possible at all to collaborate using Revit LT. That means that no more than one person can work on a Revit LT file at any time. This is the typical structure that we would envisage for a BIM project. If you have never seen this picture before, consider that you have various disciplines: structural, architectural, and MEP are three of the disciplines that are commonly cited, but there might be many more. MEP could easily be subdivided into electrical, ICT, HVAC, plumbing, and drainage. Architectural could also be exterior, facade, interior, and in structural, we might have rebar specialists and other structural specialists contributing towards the structural disciplines. There might be many more disciplines in this circle. The idea of work sharing is that we have a structural central file on which various team members can operate. On a local area network, this is rather simple, and on the cloud, it is also simple in the sense that we can follow the sun. Those of you not familiar with the term, we can have a distributed team of specialists or team members connected to the central file over the internet, regardless of their location. Somebody in Australia, South Africa, England, America, Russia, China, India, doesn't matter where you are, you can still work in the central file at the same time. Also important is publishing this file into a shared folder, into a shared environment, what's commonly referred to as the common data environment, from whence our models may be shared with other disciplines so that they link that into their respective models. This idea of more than one person working on a project file at the same time is impossible in Revit LT. What does that look like in Revit? I've taken the liberty of opening a cloud shared work file, what is known in common parlance today as a collaboration profile. And you can see how we have this collaborate ability to choose our publishing settings and then to publish the file up into the cloud. So when the team members are ready to upload their files and share it with their own team, they can publish the model. Until then, the file that they are working on is visible only to themselves, after which the BIM manager would share the package into a common data environment for consumption by the other disciplines. Truly global workflow, and one where everybody can participate. The files do not have to be shared over the cloud. The synchronization may also happen on a local area network if that is how the project is set up. The Autodesk Construction Cloud is relatively new. It went live recently. This is an old project, so it still resides in BIM 360. But you will see that the files reside within a specialized folder that is meant for collaboration between teams, disciplines, and that it can be shared through our design collaboration ability. There's our team's files, and they are published. If it's published with a new version, and ultimately they can be shared or consumed with our consumed folder. Here are the other disciplines with their shared or the shared package files that are available for us to link into our model. So the BIM manager okayed the file to share with us, and we okayed their file to consume. This is done through the design collaboration platform, from where we share our packages. This is how teams, international teams using Revit and specifically Collaborate Pro operate today. And here we can see the timelines of the packages that were shared with us. This frees you to collaborate on any project in the world if you have been asked to be a part of that effort. This is available from within Revit, full Revit, with the Collaboration Pro license, but not at all in Revit LT. Excuse me. Another thing which is very important is the display of something that might be printed. By way of example, consider the duplication of rooms. There is a room within a linked file. Hovering over this linked file and tabbing to it, you can see that it's within the facade link within the full Revit. In addition to having access to worksets and Revit links, we can dive into the subcategories within the Revit link to customize the display of that category. Switch the rooms off. And you can see how it is now being switched off within that file. So we've got total control over the linked elements to override or to switch off when we are printing. Just before we switch full Revit down to open Revit LT, let's have a look at the BIM Interoperability Tools and how that fits into the scheme. On a typical project, we might have multiple standards that apply to elements. On the Classifactory side, a very common standard to use is the Uniclass 2015 format. It might also be the Uni format, but whichever standard is given, Kobe, for instance, which might be used for facilities management, that can be managed within Revit through the BIM Interoperability Tools. These are free for download, published by Autodesk. With them, you can not only assign standards and set up the COBie export, but you can also check your model with the model checker, automate the integrity checking of the model. It's a simple process to apply standards through assigning standard. In this case, the unit class, the different standards available to us, and during the setup, we can even do custom files for them if the standard is something that isn't automatically available. We would have to choose an element and then assign classification as per the tables. That information then sits within the component. Let's do that. Let's see 2015 database. And then you assign code to that element. And you'll see in the type properties that the classification has now been applied as per the shade parameter. Same goes for COBie information, although extra information would have to be added manually, but even so, the parameters are easy to create. That allows us to set up the standards that we need for further processing in platforms like Navisworks. I'll quickly synchronizing my file and we'll have a look at Revit LT. So as a recap, it is not possible to collaborate using Revit LT. It is, however, possible if somebody does send you a central file for you to open that central file and work on it on your own when nobody else is working on that file. That's from a network, from a local area network. Revit LT does not see the cloud models within the collaboration at all. Just opening up Revit LT in the background. The concept of applying a work set, a specific work set, to the elements that you might modify or create is not applicable to Revit LT, it will automatically put it into its own work set, which also means in the full Revit, you would have to process that afterwards so that you get the elements displayed in the correct workspace. What is often done is that the annotation of sheets might happen on Revit LT. So after the Revit LT user is done, the Revit team can then carry on with the file again. Revit LT users can also save their own files into BIM 360 so that others may link them into their modules. So as long as you're aware that you are working on your own, have a look at BIM 360. So if we point towards the same collaboration folder that we've seen before, you'll notice that it simply is not visible. The files within that folder simply is not visible to us. There's our architectural file. We cannot see the published files from Revit, so we cannot work with them. And if we dive into the consumed folders, we cannot see those either. So Revit LT does not integrate with the cloud as Revit does. What we have done is we have downloaded the source files from the cloud and placed it into a local folder on the hard drive of this computer, and we are going to open the download file, specifically this slot, and we are going to open these on our local computer after downloading the source file. This is the folder into which we downloaded the source file. You can see how the different disciplines came in, including the structural files within the consumed folder. And upon opening it in Revit, it created these backup folders for us. This is where we will look to open that file within Revit LT. There is the file we want to work with. This will now open the local file as a central file, and we can still work on that. After that, we will give the central file back to our team. They will then have to create a brand new central file on the cloud, which complicates matters rather a lot. So I think you might recognize that quite a lot of extra effort and time goes into incorporating Revit LT licenses into the production line. Not only do you have to account for the fact that team members have to spend that extra time, but you also have to coordinate the effort so that the central model is not modified while the Revit LT user is working on that project. While we are waiting for the Revit file, note that you should not, I can't stress this enough, don't even consider Revit LT if you want to use collaboration on the cloud. But also, because Revit LT does not allow one to use add-ins, the BIM Interoperability Tools will not be available. Also, if automation is required, you'll find that the Dynamo player and Dynamo does not operate with Revit. So looking at the same view, while some of the links will have to be reloaded, you can still see this room being within our file. It's once again within that facade link. It's on the local file. Reading on the bottom left-hand corner. Now, look what happens if you try and switch that room off using override. Firstly, none of the work sets are available for us to manipulate, so we would be unable to switch work sets on and off. On large models, this is critical because we manage the size of the models using work sets that our computer has to process. And in the Revit links, at the very best, one can switch the entire link off, but there are no subcategories, no overrides that are available to us whatsoever. We can half-tone and underlay them, switch them off. That's as much as we can do. One workaround is to tap to this room, still recognize that as a room element, right-click, hide in view element, will hide that room even though it is within the link. On a large project, you will note that it is unrealistic having to print a drawing where each and every element that needs to be hidden from the view, especially if it is a category, can't be tabbed, can't be selected, can't be switched off, and the subcategories are not available at all. Here you can see in the options that it doesn't give you the option to save it as a central file, but it is in fact a central file, which is saved in its own folder. That's with regards to a central file. And if you had to draw an element, element does not expose its workset, but it is only put into one workset. The parameters that were attached using the BIM Interoperability Tools are visible. However, you would have to fill them in independently on your own without the tools that make the standards application so easy. What is common is the assembly code, and this is then the unit format classification, and that would be the only standard that could be used. So as long as you specify the unit format, then you can get away by using Revit LT for classificatory reasons. But if it were the unit class table, you would have to do everything manually. And that would be the classification code. This can be picked up when the elements are taken through the ladder scripts. I'm going to close this file now. And we'll just start a brand new file. When we save a new file, typically should be able to save the current file or Revit model into the cloud. For some inexplicable reason, this is not active at the moment. But in principle, we'll be able to save this file onto the platform and publish that from your folders. In the same manner, through this interface that you see here. You go to BIM 360, there's the link. It will take you to your cloud platform, and from the cloud platform, you'll be able to publish the latest file from cloud. I do apologize for the software not exposing this. Should be able to save that into the cloud. I hope you've enjoyed this short webinar. If you have any questions, please direct them to us at Micrographics. So that we may be of assistance to you. And if there are no questions at the moment, just note our contact numbers. And thank you very much for your attention. Until next time, enjoy Revit, enjoy BIM.